Good morning, New Eden! Today is January 9th, 2022, and this is the Federation Frontline Report, a podcast about faction warfare interviewing the players of EVE Online. I'm your host, Frozen Fallout, and my co-host is Samson.
Good morning, New Eden.
Good morning. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's jump into the news here. So, what's been going on, Samson? What was that countdown all about?
Let's find out. Let's find out. There was a countdown to something. I remember we mentioned in the last show. We had no idea what it was, but here it is. I think there's some mixed feelings about this current event that's coming up that we have here, and that's the interstellar convergence. And if anybody's watching who is a Doctor Who fan, aka a Whovian like myself, you probably already got really excited about this. And I personally I think it's a really, really cool idea. But yeah, I mean, I can see where some people on the other side are probably like, they're just trying to, make money or whatever. And we still don't know exactly what's going on there. So let's get right into this. What we're going to do, the Doctor Who is coming to EVE Online. The world of Doctor Who is coming to EVE Online via a limited time crossover event taking place in New Eden from January 13th, which is just a few days away. It's like 4 days away. So there's a little intro video here. I'm just going to go ahead and play that for y'all. So we'll hit the here. That looks pretty.
For our listeners, there's like a ship getting like hit by like lightning bolts while it's going through like a wormhole. It's like
and the wormhole's all wobbly. It's a little wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, like the TARDIS going through its.
Right, yeah, it looks like a TARDIS going through. Okay.
Them's the Daleks. That gave me chills.
Yeah, that was a beautiful.
Ooh, and the music.
Ship. Wormholes, Doctor Who, Earth exists, in EVE Online.
It looks like that they're actually going to. Everybody just saw my interests up there. All the weird stuff I watch on YouTube. But yeah, it looks. Just from that trailer alone and some of these screenshots that you'll see shortly, it's very beautiful looking. And sometimes I forget to just appreciate the beauty in New Eden when I'm killing people. Like I got to stop and smell the galaxies and wormholes once in a while, the nebulas. And it looks like it's going to be very pretty. So I'm just going to go through really quick what they have here. Doctor Who is the longest running sci-fi series of all time. And this is for those maybe not, I guess, don't know who Doctor Who is, but I mean, come on. If you play EVE, I mean, you've at least heard of it. First being broadcast on the BBC in 1963 and still going strong today, the Time Lord and their many iconic foes are beloved over the world over, and now is up to you, the pilots of New Eden, to continue the fight against the Doctor's greatest enemy, which of course is the Daleks. Spoiler alert. Spoilers. The EVE Online X Doctor Who crossover will take place as an entirely original in-game event called the Interstellar Convergence, set before the Time Lord's 400-year-long conflict with the Daleks, the last great time war. This very special EVE event will run for over 2 weeks until February 1st. The Interstellar Convergence will be unlike any other EVE event before it, introducing a beguiling mystery, a trail of clues, multiple challenges, themed items, and even a vibrant new area of space, which is what you're seeing here, which I think might be akin to like, Trig space or something, but it's Doctor Who space, right? Or Dalek space. Unearth Doctor Who related artifacts and use them to track down the Dalek menace, face off against infamous evildoers in the interstellar battle of the ages, and claim Doctor Who inspired rewards to take back New Eden. To find out more about the threat that is coming to New Eden, keep an eye on the EVE Online news page, social channels, and more. There's much to be learned about how wormhole-like phenomenon have been taking ships from New Eden to an unknown area of space littered with wrecks of unknown vessels. and traces of others that have moved on. But what do those traces mean, and what does this have to do with the Daleks? Discover more January 13th. One thing you can be sure of is that the interstellar convergence will be one of the most distinct, engrossing events. That they're really selling this hard. Okay, I just want to point this out. I'm reading through this and realizing that they're selling it so hard. This is the third or fourth time that I've read something about how unique this event is going to be. I could be a little over dramatic about that, but I think it is. Engrossing events taking place in EVE Online, whether you are a diehard fan of the Time Lord's adventures or entirely new to Doctor Who. What's more, the Interstellar Convergence has been designed from the ground up to offer experienced EVE players plenty of fresh and captivating gameplay while remaining welcome to new pilots, including Doctor Who fans who are new to new EVE Online. Yeah, and I look forward to hunting all of those people that are new to EVE Online. Like one of the PvP, I've PvP'd in a lot of different games. In EVE specifically, though, is still probably the most exhilarating PvP that I've had, and maybe it's just because I'm old now. I don't know how that works, but fresh players, like masses of fresh players coming to the game that I PvP in, is always good. it's always good to have more people to kill. And I hope to see some like daily login rewards and stuff. And who knows, maybe I might even try the event myself, or we should.
Yeah, I think we might cover a little bit about it. I'm kind of excited. I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan, but I am.
You're fired.
I've watched pretty much every the first, I think 5 to 6 seasons. I think I've seen.
I've seen all of them, and well,
what
all of the newer ones
right now for the new
God
reboot.
I don't know. Is it like 9 or is it 7? I don't know. I don't know the numbers. But I mean, and my favorite Doctors, of course, were Matt Smith
Matt Smith is my favorite.
David Tennant.
Sure.
David Tennant's probably my favorite Doctor. Matt Smith's Doctor has the best story in Pawns.
That's a fair analysis.
And the Pawns are probably one of my favorite characters. But no, I don't want to get too much into Doctor Who. This is an EVE Online podcast. 07 Ryrun X. But yeah, I'm excited to see what we get. I want some rewards. I want some things, and I would totally like, especially if the rewards are something that's unique. I
just hope we can hunt them. I hope it's not.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're gonna hunt. I don't see how we couldn't. Right? There's got every event.
If it's abyssal, then we can't hunt.
Like, well, if it's instanced, yeah. But how do like abyssals? They leave a trace, right? Can't you still warp into the trace?
Yeah, but there's you do it in high sec, and you're safe. Us pirates, we might get you can hunt us like crazy idiot pirates at a stream,
Yeah,
maybe, but that's about
yeah. There you go. There you go. They can hunt us, and then we'll get some. I hope
we'll make it so that at least New Eden can get involved in the process.
But again, to my point earlier, if it does bring, because after reading that, if it does bring new players to New Eden, that's more PvP for me. So I'm down for that. I hope it does. I tried to. My wife, who is possibly more of a Whovian than I am, I did immediately share the link to her, over our little chat while I was sitting here when I got it, and she immediately texted back, "No."
You tried.
No.
No. There was a chance.
I'm not playing EVE, and not even for Doctor Who. And it was really funny because we just had a conversation about like she'll play any video game with me, but not EVE Online.
Not EVE.
And I'm okay with that because we play a lot of video games, but not even for Doctor Who. And she's the biggest Doctor Who fan that I know.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We have a lot of other news to cover here.
Yes, sir.
So we've got the stations in Notoras. Do you want to go ahead and pull up those kill mails here? So the stations are gone. They don't exist anymore. Snuff has come in All of our diplomatic channels failed, and the end of the empire, stations are basically there. So this is a pretty huge thing. So the Crack Haus and das Überleser and das Überkrackhaus, das
R.I.P. Crack House.
Krackhaus.
F for respect.
Yeah,
I want to put an F in chat for respect.
F in chat.
Yeah, Snuff snuffed out our stations finally after I think we diploed our way out of at least 3 times worth of them trying to blow our shit up. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's not that many times.
I think it was 2 from them to a certain degree, and then well, 1 from them, 1 from Soju, or Soja.
Soju. Yeah, you're right. Space Oddities, join us.
Space Oddities, yes. And then one other time we had the Keldari, I think, attacked, but never came back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Diana Kim.
Yeah,
she did knock our shields down once, but that was a hollow threat.
Yeah. So we exhausted all of our diplomatic options that we had.
All of our diplomatic community.
Yeah. our friendship with the Nisua cartel did not protect
Save
us
it
as it
that
had
time
in the past. From my hearings, that there's somebody like a Snuff guy who doesn't like us. So,
which I would love to know. If anybody's got that intel, send it to Gwenevit Kenyon, Eve Mail, Toot Sweet. I will. I want to know who hates us so much, because I would love to pester them more. Wait, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. That was something we discussed offline. No, I love the interaction. I love the attention and the fights that we get, even if they're stupid. Like I love that my Gnosis has been soloed by a Dread. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Like, I love that.
It was beautiful, man. What they had to like. I have some footage of the end of the Crack House. I think it was the Das Überlaser.
Das Laser, yeah.
Yeah.
The Moon Cracker.
The Moon Cracker. So I've got some footage of that, and I'm gonna get that out there. We're gonna build a story around this. We're gonna use this as fun. It sucks that they got blown up. Red is really pissed off because those were his stations to like build. Like basically those were his stations at this point, because the only reason why they existed is because he wanted to help build shit for the Nisua cartel and for us.
And he built a lot of shit for us, and still does. So
yeah. So he's not out of the fight because
he built so many ships for me. I don't have enough time to get them all blowed up.
Right.
I need more time, Red. He's like, "Oh, you need 20 more of these." I'm like, "Bruh, I only lost 2. Calm down." I mean, I'll take them, but like.
So yeah, so that's an end of an era.
End of an era. I remember murdering so many people outside of the Crack House, especially when it was under Galente control and Caldaris could not tether. Actually, at the time, I think we weren't in faction warfare, so I think I was doing both sides. So whoever couldn't tether outside of the Crack House was getting blown up by Gwen.
So this is definitely gonna make it as part of the backstory. Me and Gwen were kind of talking about this, and I think it's just like a little background tidbit that people that watch the podcast, that when we become famous, because we're already famous. So
when we become famous,
CCP,
people... make us famous.
But we're making a movie, and we're also doing some other kind of fun things, and I think that this will be part of the background story. But we're gonna make some fun little movies.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fun story, some meta, and I think that's what to get real, not to break the fourth wall. I really enjoy the meta story of Eve. Like, and more so now that we're actually creating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, we've created meta. Meta exists now because of us, and that's an honor.
yeah, I'm excited to build more on that and to get out more media, get like a short movie out there, and
Not to be confused with the meta show. I'm just fucking talking about meta in general, the word, not like we are in no way affiliated with the goons or anything, I don't think.
no. Um, but
Bzz, bzz.
so basically, at this point, we're reforming, rebuilding, and to kind of go into some other news, there's a big pushback that's coming from the Caldari at this point. They're definitely trying to plex up a lot of our systems, and they've pushed us back down from tier 2. We held it for a very short amount of time, which is really kind of nice.
We managed to get a couple of missions in.
Yep, and it's just it's good to see the Galente pushing, good to see the Caldari pushing, and there's been a lot of good fights that have been happening throughout the war zone, and I look forward to continuing the battle with the Caldari. The loss of our stations in Notoras is by no means any kind of death blow for sure. So
Oh no, we're still kicking, and there's Red on cue. We speak of the devil. What's up, Red?
So let's take a look here, and we have some other after action reports. So let's go into, I think Wednesday night, is that the first beginnings?
Yeah, Wednesday night was a lot of fun. I gotta say, we've been having so much fun with you guys when you come out with us on Wednesdays, and it's a blast. We give out free ships, man. We'll give you free ships, if you just come out and get blown up with us, and we do get blown up.
We do get blown
that does
up.
happen. It does happen. I mean, you can see some red. You can see some red here on this after action report right now.
And that's not even the full extent. This is just our red, basically.
Yeah, it's just our red. But this night started off. We had a little tiny gate camp in our system, Yavenger, and this Tristan, which was a war target, I believe. Yeah, Caldari State. Looks like, they just showed up on our gate, and like on our side of the gate, but they,
oh yeah,
they weren't they weren't jumping,
piloting or something like
yeah, they were autopiloting through our gate, and we were just like, well, just shoot him, just kill him, just whatever. It was Squid, kill him, and he killed him. And it was like, I don't know why he did that, but it was fun. It's always fun to start off with something like that.
Some weird,
and of course we got his capsule.
Yep, some kind of weird event.
We really started off that night with Snuff knocking down, I think, the armor of the Crack Haus or one of those. And right after that, or during that, I was actually filmed it, so I told them in game, I'm streaming this right now. Thank you for the content, and we're gonna go do some gate camping. I literally just told Snuff, like, we're gonna go do this right now.
You called death upon us.
And so Snuff decided to start chasing us with their dreads and shit, like, or blops or whatever. I think it was blops.
Blops.
And then blops. It was blops, and they chased us, and then a fucking Rourke, a bait Rourke that we thought showed up. It was Snuff. Yeah, that was a bait Oracle showed up, and then it jumped through, and you tackled it or something on the other side. You were shooting it.
I did something. I don't remember. I've got footage of it, but it's kind of fuzzy now. But I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like, what was it? I just remember. If you listen to the clips, I just remember me going, Frozen, what are you doing?
And so,
and then when you were messing with him on that side, that impel showed up. This impel right here showed up on the other side of the gate, and all of us like agreed, yeah, it's probably bait. And you're like, yeah, don't shoot it, it's bait. And then like 10 seconds later, he's like, you know what? Shoot it.
Fuck
Let's
it.
kill
I was
it.
like, yeah, shoot it. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Shoot it.
Let's just, we're all gonna die in a fire.
We're all gonna die in a fire. And we kept shooting it, and its armor's like halfway, and we're like, is he gonna light the Sino? He never lit the Sino. Poor bastard. Had nothing to do with what was going on with Snuff baiting us with their blops. And he just got wrecked. And it was a night he was a blockade runner carrying DST. There's an Occator in the plastic wrap. And it was a really good way to start the night because that was close to 500 million ISK. So all this rest of this loss isn't as bad. Like, we eventually Snuff caught up to us. They chased us for a while. And I think they caught your Gnosis, it looks like here. But that was the end of that. They stopped messing with us after that. That was a Blops too, right? So you got Redeemers and fucking... There's a random Hyperion. It's Widows and Panthers and a Marshal.
Yeah, I think we lost like one or two other people as well during that.
Yeah, they weren't in our alliance, so they don't count. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, we gave them those ships. So it's okay.
And then we ran into, what were we in when we were shooting this?
Cox.
Yeah, so
bags.
we found a.
We shipped down after Snuff got us. We shipped down.
Hecate.
I like it.
Hellcat.
Hellcat. I like Hellcat too. Yeah, this dude was just what? He was just like sitting in a Plex, and he's not even Caldari or Galente.
Yeah, and he was shooting the NPCs.
Yeah, he was, I guess, looting them for their tags. I mean, that's the only thing I could think, right?
It was an interesting encounter.
But he almost felt AFK.
It was, it really felt like I feel like he was off. You know,
he
should have been
like, I'm waiting for the next NPC. I'm gonna go take a piss. Hecate. That's how I normally say it. But I do like that some people say Hecate because I like Tecate. But no, this guy, I mean, 161 fucking mils, man. Like, he had a Gisty A-type afterburner, and fool's just sitting there. He didn't drop the afterburner, unfortunately. I don't think so. Let's see. It got blowed up, but he just still dropped 10 mil. That was a fun kill. Again, 165 mil. So 165 mil, we're already over a bill, like 100. And then I may have baited Shadow Cartel into killing me. Not like actually Hecate. That also works too, Hempshell. Not actually. I mean, I was asking for it. This praxis was that it's, it needed to die at some point. And we were gate camping, and Shadow Cartel stream sniped us because I kept saying, here's a praxis, come shoot it, and no one was shooting it. So Shadow Cartel obliged as usual. Thank you for the content, Shadow Cartel. And they dropped on us a Widow, Redeemer, Panther, Marshal, and then there was a Garmer.
I feel like we should have all just died in a fire here just for the fucking fun of it. But
but y'all left me
out. I feel like we shot at something that we knew.
I aligned out. But they had already pointed me when you said we were warping.
I believe that is the one mistake that I made, is that they had there were pirates and they had some.
But I fully intended for that praxis to get blown up, so I wouldn't say it was your fault. I goaded them into shooting at me, but it was fun. It's a cheap ass praxis too, 277 mil. I mean, we already paid for it with that fucking
shit's
impel.
Gonna happen when you're in my fleets. That's all I gotta say.
You might lose a praxis, but I mean, we do get a lot of fun kills too. I mean, okay, the rest of it's all red, but that was because we were like tired and drunk at the end, but I forgot to mention the most important part. I killed the fucking bait. Okay, the Sino is dead. That's all that mattered. I think if you review the tapes, that you even said, we got the Sino, guys. It's good. We're good.
We got the Sino.
Who cares about the praxis?
We win.
We win. We got the Sino.
Murder,
and I think
something.
Most of us had got on the kill of it too. So totally worth it. It was a badger, Sino.
Fun times. Fun times.
But I like getting blops. Blops is fun. We get blopsed by Shadow Cartel most. We've also been blopsed or have been dropped by Test and blopsed by Bomber's Bar and dropped by Snuff.
It's an honor to waste your fuel on us.
It's exactly.
We know where we're hitting you in the where it counts. You know, it costs us a little bit of money, and it costs you a little bit of money too. A lot less than
but Frozen, you also went out recently with Aderon boys, didn't you?
Yeah, so and just to top off the night, we did get a bunch of thrashers blown up because that's what we do. That's always fun.
Oh yeah, there was red. I wasn't gonna mention it. I mean, we already mentioned the Praxis, so I think we're fine there. But yeah, we'll give out ships too, though. Those,
it's always fun to go out with some thrashers, and sometimes you can get something juicy, and sometimes you can just die in a fire. Like we've had some really great fights. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, and then last night we went out and we fought Victor. So I was going out soloing and just kind of messing around. And Aderon was like, "Hey, we got to fleet up. We're gonna be fucking around in Hades and Aboon and Indragol, trying to like deplex him down." And we had Victor come, and he came and played with us. So it was a good fight. I think the first one that we came in, we got the so that was a Kiri's, right?
This is a Kitsune.
Or Kitsune. Right, so we came in, we got a Kitsune, or there was a Kitsune along with go to the report there, related.
Oh, sorry. Related. That'll help, yeah.
I think that this grabs like both of our encounters. We could have built a better battle report, but this kind of gives you an idea of, we've had, a bunch of MOA, or they had like some MOAs in there, some an Osprey Navy issue.
Whoa, that's a lot of stuff.
And so we had frigates and a bunch of caracals that I handed out. So I handed out a bunch of the rapid fire, but these are rapid fire, so these were meant more for taking out frigates. But
and then he ended up with cruisers.
Yeah, so this was pretty
rapid
rough.
lights.
Now, reviewing the tapes, the first encounter we should have killed his Osprey Navy issue, but I didn't point it properly, and I didn't. I was on top of it for a long time. Should have been pointing it. Should have been trying to like keep point on him, but my brain was just elsewhere. It was pretty late. But
Night Red,
have good one, Red. So, I blame myself for not catching him in that. But yeah, he came in. He fought, or he was sitting in a plex. We came in, and he killed a bunch of our caracals, like just a whole 3 caracals, I think. And they lost to a Kitsune and I think like a destroyer and a couple other things. And then we fought them again, and in the same system. And this time we were able to take down the Osprey Navy issue. We took down a Thorax. We took down a MOA, I believe, in the end.
2 MOAs.
I think the first, so I think one that we got in the first fight, and one that we got in the second fight. Or we might have got 2 MOAs in the second fight. In any case, what's the battle report kind of like? If you scroll up, what's the percentage?
Well, it looks like you're pretty close here, with an efficiency of 47.2 versus 52.8. So they lost, or you lost 661 mil, and they lost 591 mil. So it's pretty close.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Pretty close. It was a fun fight.
You lost 19 ships, and they lost 17. That's not bad. That's almost even.
Yeah, no, and that's
and either way, it's a good fight. Like you said, it's a good fight.
It's always about the good fights, and that's one of the things that we got invited into, like this special channel by Victor that's like a shit talking channel. So we're like, gonna like hang out there and talk to each other.
Is it like safeties? Why was I ganked?
It feels like it. It feels like that's what it's becoming. We like maybe we're all gonna get kicked, but we've got like a bunch of like Galete that joined up into it, and we're all like, and they're hanging out talking. They're cool. Victor's awesome. I want to get him on the show, so hopefully
Victor Invictus.
you know, we can talk to him more, and you know, it's always fun to have, you know, a good relations with the person that you're in a forever war with, because this is like different. This is different than like Goons versus Test, and Goons versus the rest of the galaxy, or Test versus Frat, or Frat versus Snuff, because those wars, you know, eventually go away or change or do something else. This is just a land of forever. This is Valhalla. Every day we wake up, we are reborn. Every time we die, we are reborn, and we just go out and we murder. That's like the key of what's kind of
fight.
Going on here. And so when you have another general on the other side that, you know, when you're looking for fighting with each other, I think that that's key to building relations with the people that you're fighting with. I don't see. I'm a weird person in EVE Online. I'm not about the hate and the anger and stuff like that.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
I don't mind salt. You know, if you want to salt on me,
I love salt.
That's great.
I live on salt.
But in the end, I'm always looking for people who want to either help me kill people, or be the people that I'm going to die and or be kill or be killed by.
Yes.
And I'm always down for, you know, some fun fights, and, you know, there's always going to be lopsidedness. You know, EVE Online is not fair. It's not a fair game. It never will be, no matter what. If you want fair, go play in the Proving Grounds. You know, there is a spot for a little bit of fairness in EVE Online. It's a weird kind of place, but I prefer the open field of combat, where
absolutely, way better.
One side or the other, you know, somebody's got an advantage, and that advantage is going to let you, you know, take the field and or you know, inflict so much loss that taking the field doesn't matter. And then there's a lot of just play for solo, and there's a lot of, you know, just killing random solo people. You know, so I feel like there's a lot of content. And you know, to kind of wrap up some of the, you know, speaking of being friends with your enemies, so
frenemies.
Ignacio is a super cool dude. He you know, we've fought with him quite a bit over the last few months, you know, just having different kind of interactions with him. Samson was able to kill his Draugr with his Kiki, and that kind of like triggered even more of a bond between our, you know, two organizations.
Yeah, now we're like friends. We've blued each other, and we share intel, and we're gonna kill together.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting on our gate with him, you know, the other day, waiting on stuff, and we thought we were getting baited into a really nasty battle, but so we're kind of like backed off, and because I fleeted with him and his alts and stuff, and so I was like, it didn't happen, but you, like, I came back to my computer at some point. I don't think it was the same. It might have been the same day or earlier that day, and I was like, "What's this chat? What's going on in chat right now? What did you do with him?"
So he was
I think he committed a crime of some sort.
Well, okay, so he had caught somebody inside doing a 4 of 10 flex, I believe. So he warps in, gets tackle on the guy, is killing him, and the guy just jumps out of his ship and fucking leaves. He's like,
and then he stops shooting his ship.
So he stops shooting the ship. He's like, okay, so I've got this beautiful ship here, but I'm in a beautiful ship. I don't want to leave my beautiful ship here. You know? Like,
he was probably in the Silver Blade. He was probably in a Draugr.
And so he's sitting there thinking, all right, so what do I do here? And he's like, well, hey, I know these dudes. Hey, you guys, anybody want to grab this fucking ship here? And I was like, okay, I'm in a pod actually, and I'm like just flying
Yeah.
through Hades, and this is in Integral.
It was like a system over, yeah.
So I jump over, I get to the gate, I hit the activation on the gate, and it goes, pods aren't allowed. And I'm like, fuck! So I fly
Oh,
over.
that's what happened. I didn't realize that. I was racking my brain from that conversation. I was like, of course you can jump into a ship if you're in a pod. I was like, what are you guys talking about? Now it makes sense.
Yep, so basically I'm like, shit, okay. So I go over, I think I grabbed a newbie ship. Or no, I grabbed a shuttle.
A
And
shuttle, you
actually, I
grabbed
should
a
have
shuttle.
just grabbed a Corvette now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's
So
all right.
I jump into a shuttle, I fly over, and I jump inside of it, and I fly it back to Yvangir and hand it on over. And he gave me 20 million for it, and it was a tasty ship. It had some abyssal mods on it that were looking
Nice.
pretty good. And just overall, I have screenshots of it, but I don't have
Yeah, no,
them ready
that was
right now.
crazy. You
But
just aided, you helped him steal a ship. I mean, it wasn't even really stealing at that point. He had plundered it.
he
That was loot.
basically, yeah, he basically plundered it. He basically made the crew abandon ship, and he took it over. I mean, humanitarian, if you ask me. Actually, if you look
Yeah,
at
right.
like how many people are actually on board, like humans that are not pod pilots that die when they die, we just like murder them by like the thousands, the millions,
I don't
probably
even
like a
think about
day.
that, but that's a really good point. I
um,
wish there was a kill count for that somewhere.
That's yeah. Well, I mean, that's every NPC that you shoot at too, though. So that would
Yeah.
be you're a mass murderer. It's bad.
Yeah,
You're a
it
bad
happens.
person. You should feel bad.
We
But let's move on. We hit tier 2, so I wanted to show Samson some mission running. So me and Samson went out, and so I just wanted to give some tips and tricks here on mission running. Mission running is a great way to make some LP, especially when you're at tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Tier
Yeah, so
4
we did do some.
and 5 is just unbelievably ridiculous, the
We
massive
did
amount
some
of LP
mission
you
running,
can get.
and I almost lost my legion in the very first mission. I
So you
was like,
do
"This is a PvP legion."
you do have to be a specific kind of PvP fit, or in a fleet, or you need to be in a purely PvE ship. I do a slight combination of the two. I can do some PvP in it. I can point. I can survive. I can dish out a lot of damage, um, but it's not it's not great unless I pick my target properly.
Yeah, but it's I think when you're actually like mission running, or I mean,
I mean,
if
you
you're
got a
baited,
kill
baited
in
up.
your new PvP
Yeah,
PvE.
but that was
That was
a
very
very
weird.
specific. Let's see if I remember how you know how the internet works really quick.
No,
Let me just
you can't
uh,
remember that. It's built into the code to not remember how to use
where
it
was that?
properly.
Oh, is this that was right here.
If you
So
needed cat gifts, you would have it up by now. But no.
yeah, easy. Um, so what had happened was this guy was in our system, our staging system, and he was looking for a fight with Judge Sarn, which I believe may or may not have been streaming at the time, but he was just talking shit in local. He called him names, and he was like, "I'm just looking to I want to shoot Judge Sarn in the face." And I was like, "What, did he offend your ancestors or something?" I start chatting with him in local, and he was like, "No, I just want to fight him," and he's like, "He's my favorite streamer, and I want to fight him." And I was like, "Oh, you, you are the people. You are the people that we do this for. This is the reason. You guys are the reason we stream." Meanwhile, I scanned him down in this brand new Legion that I just fit up per your suggestion for the faction warfare runner, mission runner, and I scanned him down and I sniped his ass. He was just chilling there, I guess, distracted or whatever. Um, But I did have a good conversation with him, Seth Levar, afterwards, and I actually paid for so he could buy another one of these ships. I just like he handled it really well. Like he did not get pissed or anything. He said good fight, and he was like, man, that was some badass sniping. Like he was like impressed by it. So I was like, dude, people don't usually handle it this well. So here, go buy another ship. Maybe hang out with us sometime.
There you go, man. Building those relations, through shooting first, asking questions
Questions
later.
later. Well,
It's a beautiful system.
just yeah,
It's
just yeah,
online.
we love you guys. You guys are awesome. Blap. Hi.
Uh, and one thing that we're gonna do is after the show here, we're gonna go out. We're gonna show you how to do some mission running. So let's talk about mission running though, real quick.
Mhm.
So one of the things about faction warfare is that it's a very different. It's very similar to burner missions, but even
It's not as
more different.
dangerous.
It's it's
Well, it
more
is. Well,
dangerous, but it's
it's
less.
actually more dangerous. That's true, but there's a chance, right? Like with a burner mission, it's always this dangerous. Like it's always this dangerous. The burner mission with these, it's like a depending on where you're at, a percentage chance of it being more dangerous.
I mean, you can master. I feel like you can master burner missions and always come out on top, and know how to do that system of churning in and just getting
True.
burner
Absolutely
missions.
true. In fact,
Um,
I was just before I moved out to low with you
it takes a
guys, I
setup.
was just about getting set up to be able to do burner missions, and I actually bought a Garmer for that specific purpose.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
I brought it out here just to have it. And I brought it out with my new DST on one of my alts, which reminded me that the cloak trick, I never understood it when you told it to me so many times. I was like, why would I fucking decloak to warp? I don't get it. You don't make sense, Frozen. But then I started using a DST and realized, oh, it's not a covert ops cloak, so you can't warp when you're cloaked. And the cloak trick, is fucking amazing. Like because my DST takes 23 seconds. I don't have like super skills or anything. It takes 23 seconds to align, but I can do it in like 5 seconds with the cloak trick because you just fucking you align to your destination, you cloak, and you hit your micro warp drive, and then was it like 10, 15, 20% before the micro warp drive is done, you decloak and warp,
Yeah, I would
and it's
say,
instant.
yeah, it would be about 10. I usually do it at about 5 to 10% of cloaking going down.
Yeah,
Or
whatever
micro
that
warp
is.
drive turning off. So that you just
Yeah.
watch the micro warp drive just about to turn off. You turn off the
Yeah,
micro, or
it's
you don't even
basically
need to
the
do
the
anything with the micro warp. Sorry, you turn off the cloak, and then you
yeah.
just warp.
Yeah, because you're waiting for the micro warp drive to cycle. You want to. It's timed where it like cycles right as you're warping. Like it stops the cycle because the cloak's gonna automatically stop the micro warp drive cycle, no matter what, because you cloaked. Um, and
And you can
that
do
that
this on
actually,
any ship that has a micro warp
yeah,
drive and a cloak. You can do this as
yes,
the prototype cloak as well. They're not as good. I think
yeah,
the T2 is a
but
little bit more safe, but
the reason I got confused was because I was so used to covert ops cloaking, where if you cloak, you can still warp. You can still warp while you're cloaked. So that's why it made no sense to me. And also, I've never flown a ship that had 23-second align time before that, and cutting that down, like even if you're not trying to get away from a gate camp, just cutting down the time it takes to align and warp makes transporting so much quicker.
and this kind of ties back into faction warfare missioning because you can do this in any ship. And if you really want to do faction warfare missions on the super cheap, you can throw a cloak onto your faction warfare cruiser and just do it in
Hmm.
a Tech 2 cruiser or Tech 1 cruiser. And your cost of doing faction warfare level 4 missions drastically drops. And I think you can do possibly even level 2 missions with that, and then level it's really quick to level up though when you start doing missions,
Hmm.
to be able to get to level 4 missions.
But
It's
yeah, if
pretty
you're doing,
quick.
was it solo or even duo, Tech 3 strategic cruisers are super.
That is
efficient.
my favorite because I'm not really looking to. I'm not worried about the initial cost benefit. I'm looking for fun, and I like having probes on me. I like the ability to be involved in combat and be smart,
Hmm.
and be kind of snipey. Because faction warfare missions really lend, like, there's a lot of travel. Traveling is like the big thing, so you've got
Yeah.
to have
So
that cloak,
so
and being
cloaking,
able to
yeah,
warp while
cloaking,
cloaked, huge.
yeah,
The
it
micro warp
makes
drive
it so
trick
much
is kind of
safer.
nice. I don't get me wrong. It can work. You can get through a lot of different gate camps, but it's a lot less nerve wracking when you've got warp well cloaked.
Yeah, because when you can warp while cloaked, they really have to have someone that's really good at like decloaking to even or hope that you fuck up. I mean, like I pressed the wrong button, I didn't cloak, and now I'm locked. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
So, so one of the big things about it is that basically what you're doing, so to kind of break it down for you, that as to like what is faction warfare missioning. Um, so the first thing that you do is you find out how many faction warfare missions you have available to you. Even if it's not a standings thing, it has everything to do with whether a war zone is controlled by you or not. Because most
mhm.
of your missions are going to be in the war zone. So what you do is there's right now for the Galente there are two specific missions, and it's unique to each group. I don't know what the other groups are. Chat, you do know. Go ahead and you can shout out this kind of stuff too. Any knowledge you guys have, feel free to share it with us. We always are learning ourselves, as
Oh,
well as
absolutely.
trying to disperse as much as we have possible out to the
Learn
public.
something new every
Um,
day.
so, but basically, the Galente have two faction warfare mission, that they can always get. One in parts and one in Valor. So you can always pick up these two, and my suggestion is you go and pick them up with a shuttle. The third one that we currently have is Fleet. So that's another one I say just go. What you do is you just grab a shuttle or pod or whatever. Shuttle's pretty fast, or an interceptor is even faster, I
Mhm.
think, if you did it right. So, or just faster in
Warps. It
general.
warps
I
faster, I
think it
think.
works faster. So basically, what you do is you go pick up these three missions and you grab all three of them. Once you arrive at your final destination, so I think you can get up to like 7 or 8 in the Galente. You pick
Mhm.
up all of these if you control enough. Right now, we only get three, but if you control more, you can go and grab all of them. And if you're solo, you want to have a ship at the end of your pickups that you can go out and start doing the missions with. And these missions will take you all over Losec. So that's one of the main reasons why you want to pick up a whole bunch of them, because hopefully some of them are close, and then as you start going out further away from where you are as you're doing your missions, you'll get further and further away, but you'll start getting closer and closer to a lot of the other missions. Sometimes you do end up like all over the fucking place when you have like 8. You might go off in the wrong direction and end up having to go all the way to the other side of the war zone. But in any case, um, you go pick up all these missions, you start running them, and the beautiful thing about them is that they're quick missions. You warp in,
Mhm.
you kill the fleet commander, you get the fuck out. Most of them have a gate, so there's that kind of protective barrier. You're not just gonna get killed by somebody that's a cloaky. They have to land on a beacon, so they'll be revealed to you. So you just got to pay the fuck attention on what's going on. Um,
D-scan.
D-scan, will save you from a lot of problems besides Tech 3 cruisers. And
Or
cloakies can be
it
kind
will
of hard.
help you find problems, which is what we like to do
That's
on
true as
occasion.
well. You can use probes while you're doing this and stuff like that. Um, but solo, you just kind of go in and you want a ship that can tank, which is you're going to have a shit ton of ships that are going to be shooting at you and launching missiles at you. You have a very specific type of
Yeah, so you
damage that
need
you're going to be
that
taking.
PvE, sustained tank.
Right, the active sustained tank is really necessary for doing this, or doing it in a fleet with Logi. We'll get to
Mhm.
fleet, and how that kind of changes up stuff. For right now, we'll just focus on being solo here. So you're in a Tech 3 ship, you warp in, you either you want to have really good close range DPS and a good tank to be able to sustain being close and being slower to a certain degree, or basically you want to have a pretty solid tank. And I do snipey because you can still do a lot of damage and you usually land like 100 kilometers or 60 kilometers away
Mhm.
from your target. But you have one ship that you're going to have to destroy. So you fly in, you destroy the fleet commander,
Ship
you
or
take
Stargate
or a Stargate, or a Starbase,
or
or a Starbase
Starbase.
reactor, or
Yeah.
mining ships. Now there is one that is a mining ship, Roidus Rage, I believe it is.
Has no gate.
No gate
It's
to it,
like an
so it's
open plex.
super fucking makes your heart pound when you're solo with a fucking tier 3 ship. And the more
Yeah,
that you
there's
pimp out your
a
ship,
good
the better you can do it. But the more you're gonna get killed at some point doing these fucking things because it's
you
just
will,
gonna
yeah,
get
but a
you.
good tip for that is when you go to the beacon, like when you warp to it, assess your situation like you did, and then find something else to warp to come back to get closer to your
Hope nobody's
targets
in
or within
system.
range.
Don't do
Hope
it in
nobody's in
Tama.
system.
Don't do it in Tama. Just
Oh,
don't do it in
absolutely
Tama.
do it in Tama.
I mean, with a
Absolutely.
fleet,
Well, we're gonna
or if
do it
you
in
want
Tama. We
PvP.
next Wednesday we're gonna do it in Tama. I hope. Hopefully we get some in Tama. We'll do it in Tama.
But it's really easy. You blow up
Yeah.
something and you get the fuck out, and it's usually like, I don't know, if you're doing it right, I say that you're probably gonna get it done in like 3 minutes when you arrive. Travel is the
Hmm.
most dangerous part of the whole thing. Now, my whole
And
thing
fun.
is that I think that the next like thing that we're going to be doing with Wednesday nights is we're going to be converting over for a little while. We've got some new things that were in the works, some new ideas, some new stories that we're going to be telling. But Wednesday night I think is going to be an interesting thing because I want people to get into a bunch of cheap cruisers, and we're just going to go out with
Yeah.
Raji and cheap cruisers, and we're just going to run these
Run all the
missions,
missions.
and hopefully we run into other people. And even if we do get
Get some
dropped, it's a
fleet
bunch of
fights.
cheap ass ships. We don't give a fuck. We're just gonna have fun.
And maybe if we get dropped and we have enough cheap ass ships, we can take one of them out.
One
and
out,
we'll
just one
replace
out. You know,
all of our ships.
right,
If we could catch that widow or that redeemer or that marshal.
right. Just to inflict some pain with what we've got. And I want to be able to be like kind of a roaming gate camp, so that we become less of a juicy target for a little while. I mean, we'll come back to being juicy targets again. Don't worry, Snuff. You'll get your content.
Yeah, I'll dock my rattlesnake in Tama at one point. It'll happen.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be every birthday. By the way, I plan on throwing away probably carriers, give or take. We'll do some huge giveaways.
Yeah, maybe I'll undock my
Carrier.
rattlesnake for your next birthday.
Right. But in any case, missions are just it's fun. It's a different way of doing missions. Like I was interested to hear, like, Samson. So you're a person that really doesn't like PvE in EVE Online anymore. You
Well,
don't
that's
really
that's
do
a
it
that's
anymore.
a that's a loaded question or assumption there. I used to love mission running in high sec.
I
I
guess,
would take
yep.
my paladin out and I would do security 4 missions and just wreck through them really quick, and similar to what you're talking about here. But with that, there was literally no like a 5% chance maybe of PvP, and it would just be suicide ganking because that and I'm not stupid enough at that point to take a bait or whatever, so it'd have to be a suicide gank. But if that did happen, I would definitely take a bunch of them out first. But the point being, um, I liked that for a while. It was good for making money, but I like this better because regardless of how much like ISK it ends up making or LPs it ends up making, while we're doing it, it gives us the opportunity for PvP. Like at all times, like there's always a potential opportunity for PvP, and so and and it doesn't fucking increase my security status by because we're not killing pirates, we're doing faction warfare. I like having that -10 badge of honor on security status, um, because it's one, yes, it's like a trophy thing. It's like a I remember when bounties existed to the point where you could have a bounty on you and your character would say wanted on their thing, and I never achieved that. I was never wanted. So now the closest thing I can get is just being,
Wait, did they take
negative
that out?
10. Yeah, it's
No, they
gone.
didn't. They didn't take that. Did they take that out? They don't show wanted on you anymore when you're bountied.
There's no wanted anything anymore. It's gone. There's no bounties. There's
Bounties
just
are
kill
there.
rights. No,
No
there's just kill
way.
rights.
No way. Really?
What are you talking about? There's no bounties anymore. That's been gone for a while. Am I crazy?
Am I crazy? I'm literally like, you're
So
from
no, no,
another
no.
universe.
No, no, no,
And
no. I think there's a miscommunication, Frozen. Bounties exist when you're fighting NPC pirates.
No,
But
no.
you
I think we're on the same
Okay.
wavelength from different
Okay.
universes.
I
Your
think player
universe
bounties
is
are removed
probably real.
right there.
God
Rockham
damn it. Okay.
Rochambeau. I think player bounties were removed in 2020.
2020. Wow.
That was before we met. And I was still trying to achieve being wanted. I was never wanted. But
I was
now,
wanted. I have had
of course
people,
you were.
oh
Of
my
course
god,
you
man.
were, Frozen.
When we were doing high sec fucking suicide ganks with NATOs, so we'd have tornadoes and we'd scan the guy coming out of Dodixie in a in any kind of hauler, tier 1 hauler. We'd scan them, and if they had like a billion ISK or more in their hull, then we'd suicide gank them. And oh my god, like we'd have to get lucky enough that they'd warp to our gate. We'd drop out of warp or be right there waiting, depending on like if we had any war decks going on. And then we'd sit there, and then when they decloaked, they like just all of this like fire would rain down on them. And they were like, "Fuck you, you're wanted. I hate you." But in any case,
yeah. So, but negative 10 security status allows anybody to attack me outside of any NPC station or any gate, or in high sec with no repercussions, and that's how I roll. That's how I want to live. That's beautiful, because like I could just wait on a gate, like outside of high sec, because if I go into high sec, then the cops will kill me eventually if I'm not moving. But it's got me good fights, because if I just wait for them to engage me, then I can blap them, whatever, like so. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a fun little thing here. So we're gonna show you some faction warfare missions coming up after the show here. We're gonna jump right into that, and then I think that is the end of our show at this point.
Yeah.
Unless there's any questions, I think from the chat, if there's anything that you want us to touch base on here, or any news that we missed, I think we'll wrap it up for tonight. So I just want to thank you all for watching. If you're interested in joining up with the war effort, put in an application to Golden Age Stories. There's big changes that are going to be coming to Golden Age Stories, to what we're doing. Stand by for that, for media announcements about what the next future and continuing story and epic saga of Golden Age Stories, and what's been going on in faction warfare, what's been going on all together. But in any case, go ahead and throw in an application. We'd love to have you on board here. Main thing that we do has been Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights is huge. Hey Don, and I want to expand out and do more stuff on Saturday nights and Sunday nights, kind of like what we're doing right now, where we're gonna kind of do the show and then I think do something after the show, and then Saturdays will be kind of, if you've got a Saturday free, but I don't want it to make a commitment, because Sundays I think and Wednesdays are kind of easy days to make a commitment.
But Wednesdays, the FCs get a bit toasty.
Yes.
and we
We're all gonna
fly into death itself. And that's I think
we're
that's
gonna
one of
get
the
straight
first lessons
sniped
of
every time.
PvP and Eve is really, if you want to be as good as any of us, any of the people that we've mentioned at PvP, it's learning how to die. It
Yeah.
really is. It
Being
is really
okay
learning
with
how to
death
die.
is very important.
Being okay with death and learning from it. When you learn from each death what you
Now,
could have
don't get me
done better.
wrong. You can get a kill board that's beautiful by going to 0.0 and just jumping into a fleet, and the only reason why you died is because your fleet lost against another person, but you really are just gonna press the
But let's
F1.
face it, that's boring as shit.
Yeah, I don't like it, to be honest. I prefer the dirty fighting
Oh
insanity of
yeah.
Losec. That is just,
Yes.
like the possibility of getting dropped on at any point, like possibility
Yeah,
of
yeah.
killing and taking out, a
Snuff is
really
always watching.
beautiful, beautiful target. Counter drops that'll happen, insanity. There's a lot of fun to be had, and it's a lot more crazy, a lot more inner pilot skill is very important when you're in a 150 man fleet. There's already put into the equation that there's going to be shitty people who aren't going to do what they're
Mhm.
told, and that's okay, because the rest of there'll be a high enough percentage that will just do what they're told. They'll press their button when they need to, and they'll align when they need to. But when you come to low sec, you gotta play the game. You actually have to be part.
Mhm.
You can't be watching TV as much. Now we do a lot of gate camping, which is kind of where you could probably sit back and watch some TV.
Or
That's
you can just drink and smoke
Yeah, that's
whatever.
yeah, and hang out with your buddies. It's really like being at a campfire. That's what I really like about it's a
Mhm.
campfire built on the ships of the wrecks of the ships that we create. It's beautiful, you know. And so if you didn't catch us live Sundays at 2300 Eve time, 5 p.m. Central time, you can and that is on Twitch. You can always catch us on our podcast Federation Frontline Report. We're on YouTube, and we're also on any podcasting platform such as Spotify, iTunes, I don't know, like all
Zune.
over Zoom. What? Zoom?
Zune.
Zune? Are we on Zune? I don't know. Maybe
No,
we are.
I you'd have to actually submit to them, but it's funny because
We
I
we
got my
are on
show.
Pandora. We are on Pandora. We
Oh
are
hell
submitted.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
um, and if you have any news that you'd like us to talk about on the show, or an after action report that you want us to talk about, we'll pay between 10 and 100 million ISK, depending on the quality and depending on whether we get it on the show. I think I do have a little bit of a backlog on that. I do apologize. I just needed to sort it, and I do apologize. So, but I do have the payouts already. I paid them out. I just haven't got it set up to get onto the show. So we are going to talk about that, and I need to make sure that there is not a backlog with that we get any new submissions will be on the next show. So that is a promise that I'm making for next show. We're going to make sure all the backlog is completely fixed, and that any new things that we get that we pay out for will be on the show as well. But if you do have anything, get a hold of me by sending an email to Frozen Fallout in-game. That's FROZEN Fallout, FALLOUT. Frozen Fallout in-game. Send me an email and I will get you ISK. You can also get a hold of us by emailing me at the Federation Frontline Report at gmail.com. We don't have the ability to immediately give you ISK then, so make sure that you give us your in-game name that you want us to give you ISK if you're submitting a report. But I want an official email, or I want an official email, so that I can log who you are and log what I'm going to need to get onto the show. So that is all that we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed. We're gonna cut to a real quick here that we're cutting out, and then we're gonna go and do some mission running. We're gonna take a little bit of a break in between, so please stand by as the screen will tell you. Thank you so much, and good night, New Eden. And also, real quick, a big plug. We have these mugs. The Federation Frontline Report. Got that nice little. Yeah, it looks really, really cool. We got a little Valente symbol there, and good morning, New Eden. If you go around all the way onto the other side, so you can get this in a merch store. You can find that on our Twitch channel. Go down into the details. There's a merch store down there. Maybe we'll put it in to make sure that it's put into the show notes when we put this on YouTube. So we greatly enjoyed hanging out with you. If you want to come and stream snipe us and blow up our tier 3 ships, I welcome you. I will reimburse Samson if he does get and we're just gonna have some fun here. So stick around and have some fun with us. Thank you so much, and have a great night.
Fly dangerous.